Hello credit people! In our last video you would have noted the first rule in credit management: do not do business with strangers. How do you do that, you might ask? Well, simple, no different to what you would do if you met someone for the first time. You get to know them. How do you do that in business? Well, for strangers that want you to give them credit, you invite them to complete a credit application form. Here's one Master Collections provides its Master Club members and suggests its Master Club members use. You may or may not see it is split into 7 sections. Let's go through the sections. Section 1, to be completed by all applicants. Trading name, address and telephone number. Invoice address and telephone number if different from trading address. How long have they been trading for? Account contact, who to address invoices to in order to get them processed. Bank details. Not only is this good from an account point of view, most certainly if you want your customers to set up a direct debit subject to appropriate consents, but also from a legal enforcement perspective, because in the unlikely event that you have to issue legal proceedings against your customer for non-payment of your invoices, you can withdraw money from their bank account subject to a CCJ to settle the same, depending on there being sufficient funds. This is known as a third-party debt order. Section 2, to be completed by sole traders and partnerships. Invite applicants to provide a copy passport to ensure they are who they say they are and to avoid any spelling mistakes of their name. In addition, invite them to provide two utility bills, no older than 3 months, confirming their current address. Indeed, someone that has a habit of moving from one place to the next over a short period of time, from a credit management perspective, cannot be trusted. These checks, depending on what business you're in, are also important and a legal requirement for money laundering regulations, including proof of ID of directors of companies. Section 3, to be completed by companies. What is a registered office address? Invite them to confirm the address. This is important from a legal enforcement point of view to ensure, in the unlikely event that you have to issue legal proceedings against your customer, you do so against the correct business. We had one case, for example, recently where, because the client did not have the registered office address of the debtor, we could not be confident the listed company, that company's house, that shared the same name as the debtor were one and the same. Most certainly when the invoice address was in a different county, miles away from the registered office. Company registration number. This further bolsters my previous point and helps with credit checking to ensure you credit check the correct business. Section 4, references. Name, address, telephone number and contact details of 2 principal suppliers. Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of this section because your crafty applicant can prime their suppliers. Nevertheless, it is good practice, most certainly when you will not be considering giving credit on this information alone. Also consider a business that doesn't have its own supply chain and has been in business for more than 2 years. If they cannot provide references from 2 principal suppliers, it's suspect, and it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume that the reason why they can't is because they have bad credit. Other businesses take references one step further, where they invite applicants to provide references from their bank. You may choose to adopt this in your credit application form. Section 5, credit. What is a required credit by the applicant? How much do they want you to give them credit for? Name of person, and also name of person responsible for paying the account on time, which complements the section earlier on in the credit application form. Section 6. This is the buyer's certificate, where you invite the customer to sign acceptance of your terms and conditions and credit terms. How much time do you want your customer to agree to pay your invoices? As well as acceptance of your terms and conditions and credit terms, it's also a part of the credit application form where you confirm to them that you will be making a credit check, I should say. Please note, for data protection reasons, you can only credit check sole traders, partners and directors of companies subject to their consent. This section, also section 6, also invites the customer to supply the letterhead. A letterhead from an account opening perspective has all the relevant information on there: company registration number, VAT registration number, and it demonstrates the legitimacy of the business because they are legally obliged to disclose such information on their stationery. Section 7, security. What security is the applicant prepared to give you to ensure that they will pay your invoices on time? For our high-risk Master Club members, for example, builders merchants who operate in a high-risk industry, construction, we recommend they acquire a continuing guarantee from directors of limited liability companies. Indeed, that's one of the reasons, if not the reason, amongst others, that businesses set up limited liability companies, because the liability is limited. It makes sense, therefore, to acquire a personal guarantee from the directors of these companies to guarantee credit that they will pay, and in doing so ensure the guarantee is continuing. Of course, it goes without saying, we advise you credit check the directors to be sure, in giving a personal guarantee, they are good for it. Of course, a company that has poor credit and directors too isn't worth giving credit to. The guarantee is not exclusive to directors of companies. It can be given by third parties too. For example, wealthy parents of the director or business owner. If so, ensure you go through the same ID protocol as you would with sole traders and partners in section 2 of the application, and also credit check them, because you can't take the applicant's word for it that their parents are wealthy. Credit check them to be sure that they are, and they are good for credit. Go through the same checks. Here ends my video on credit application forms to ensure you do not do business with strangers. For more content, please like, subscribe and comment, and remember, when giving credit, don't regret it.